poll out that shows President Obama has had a way more positive media coverage than Bill Clinton or George W. Bush did during his first few months in office. The poll looked at over 1,200 articles by various news sources and found 42% of them were favorable for Obama, compared to 22% for Bush and 27% for Clinton. Douglas MacKinnon is a former press secretary for Bob Dole and author of the Apocalypse Directive. Douglas, why the positive coverage here?
Glenn, thanks for having me back on. And the reason for the positive coverage is basically what you've talked about off and on for the last few weeks, is because the media has gone into the tank for President Obama. They're fawning over him. The vast majority of the media tends to believe exactly what President Obama believes, which is certainly left of center politics that is hurting corporate America and hurting the bottom line of the American people.
Did I read an editorial from you? Was it in the Washington Examiner? About the,
yes.
Was it? Yeah. Great newspaper, by the way, if you've not read the Washington Examiner. But you were in, and you were talking about how you think the networks are actually in the tank now for Obama, but not because they love him so much. Some of them actually fear him.
Well, exactly right. You know, at the end of the day, the networks are a business. They want to make money. And there was a little reported story, no surprise there, in the Hollywood Reporter talking about the fact that the network executives were seething over the fact that Barack Obama kept interrupting their evening programming with his basically monthly news conferences, which is costing them tens of millions of dollars, but they were basically petrified to raise this with the White House or the president because they don't know what he would do, and they're fearful that he would come after them. And as I said in the column, I don't remember any network executive saying they were fearful of George W. Bush.
Do you remember any time in your life, because the only one that comes to mind that had an enemies list was Nixon. It seems to be that we're going. I'm not saying that Obama has an enemies list, but I wouldn't put it past him either. That it seems like we're repeating the Nixon administration, or the beginnings of that.
Well, it's a little bit scarier than that, Glenn, too, because, of course, when President Nixon was in the White House, the media, for the most part, still opposed him, and there were still checks and balances on his administration, and that's why Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein did a good job and found out some of the things that Nixon was doing that were wrong. But if you have a media now that's 100% complicit, 100% in agreement with the president, who is going to do the checks and balances? It's their job to look after this president, to look into what he's doing, to see if it's right or wrong, and right now, they are unethical, it's corrupt, and they're only hurting the country in the long run.
Okay, we're going to come back because I want to take it not only from do you see Woodward and Bernstein on the horizon, but also I want to move in then to business. Who else is afraid of this president? More with Doug after the break.